So hello, thank you for joining me on the mat today. So today's class is going to be the first one of six series, and the theme for the whole 6 weeks is all around stability. And you're going to appreciate it at the end of these 6 weeks because you're going to have a new found sensation in your body and a new awareness. Trust me, I've been there. So stability is the first tool to consider when we do any asana pose. And I'm going to walk you through that today and through the next 6 weeks. You're going to hear things over and over again. It's going to be repetitive, and you're going to create a new default way of moving, default way of being off the mat, and obviously in your poses. You're going to love it. I love it. Okay, so why stability? Why is stability so important? I'm going to just share a few things, and we're going to just take a moment just to get still, and then we're going to start the practice. So stability is so important because when we are stable in a pose or even in life, we have a sense of safety. Just think about any sort of activity that you do where you're unsure. It's probably because you don't feel safe in your body. So when we have a good sense of stability, we feel safe in our body. It also helps us to build that trust so that we will try a handstand, or we will try a pose in yoga that maybe we wouldn't have, because now we have more control over what we're doing. We have better understanding. It also helps to calm the nervous system and our emotions. So when we are feeling a little bit crazy, to ground, get stable, that also supports us. So not just on the mat, but in life as well. And it helps us to move more with confidence. So we will try more things. It's that whole safety thing. So then we feel more confident. And at the same time, when we are stable in yoga poses, we can reduce injury. So we hear of a lot of people going to yoga, they overdo something. It's because they're not activating, they're not using their body in a safe way. And they overdo things, they collapse in poses. So hopefully that's not you. And I'm going to share more throughout the practice. A lot of poses, it's going to be a regular flow, but we're going to be going into it with a deeper understanding of what we're doing. So we're not just coming here to flow and move, but we're coming here to learn and to feel. So lots of feeling in today's practice. It is a slow flow. That means that we move slow. Our transitions are slow. That means we have to be in so much more control, or have so much more control. And I'm going to mention it as well that you will feel like you are moving through molasses or honey in our poses. So start to get into that understanding of how we move. So let us begin. Let us just take a few moments to arrive. See that you find that comfortable seated position, whatever that looks like for you, on a cushion, on a block, on a low blanket. I always like to sit on something. Of course, I can sit on nothing, but I have so much more comfort when I'm sitting on something. And it's all about finding comfort and ease. So in every pose that we do on the mat, when they're challenging, can we find ease? Can we be comfortable when we're uncomfortable? It's the same here. Get comfortable. So once you do find that position, close your eyes and just take a moment to feel yourself arrive. Know that the next 90 minutes is a gift to you, and allow everything outside of you and your world to just shut down for those 90 minutes. Gift yourself this. Know that you are treating your body to so much goodness, your mind to quiet down, bring your breath to be present, and just allowing your body to feel. So if your eyes are closed, you might even want to just drop your chin a little bit to feel the back of your neck lengthen. That'll just align and create that longer line from the tailbone up to the top of the head. And even here, feel into that. And then how's your breath as you arrive? Take a few breaths for yourself and just notice if they're short or shallow, deep, long, loud, subtle. And then notice if your thoughts are still reeling, if you're still bringing things from yesterday or today with you. And if you can start to quiet the mind. And as you sit here, I'll invite you, if you choose, you can bring one hand to your heart, one hand to your belly. And we're just going to do a few intentional breaths. And again, with our hands on our belly and our chest, it will allow us to feel really what's going on. Are we really breathing deeply? Are we really breathing fully? Are we really present? So we're going to start just by taking a nice full intentional breath through the nose, nice and slow. 3, 2, 1, filling everything up. As you exhale, you might want to sigh it out or just exhale through the nose, see what feels most aligned, but let it seep out slowly. Again, as you inhale, feel your hands rise, belly lifts, chest widens. Pause for that 1 second in between before you exhale it all out. You might even make a quiet sigh, hissing sound. See what feels aligned. And one more breath. Again, awareness under your hands as your belly and your chest rise. Pause at the top just for a millisecond and then exhaling, letting it flush out with ease, like you're releasing pressure from a balloon. And then just continue to find your breaths, just finding inhale and exhale breaths that feel natural and easy. And just let your sits bones drop a little bit more deeply. And just bring the awareness to the earth beneath you, holding you, carrying you, grounding you, knowing that the earth is there to hold us, make us feel safe, held. And so as we are in our practice, we use the earth to support us as well and create that stability in us. And can you feel that here? So just setting an intention for your practice all around being grounded, being safe, stability. How in your life can you use more stability? Could it be in your physical world where you are doing some sport or activity where you want to feel more stable? Or emotionally, could you use more stability? Maybe mentally or spiritually. And see what comes up. How will a little bit more support and stability help you or guide you when you step off the mat? So I'd like to just reference a Sanskrit word called sthira and sukha. And sthira and sukha basically just means effort and ease. And throughout the practice, we will transition from effort, feeling activated, feeling stable. Effort is a word that is fiery, and when we're stable, we're turning muscles on, we're feeling the heat. And sukha is letting go, is calm, it's release. And in between that activity, we want to find balance of ease. Use that understanding with your intention so that when you step into your day to day, that's exactly the balance you want to show up. You don't want to always just have ease and calm. You need something to reinforce that so that we have that balance. So just take another few breaths, find stillness just for one last moment. When you're ready, just blinking your eyes open, come back into this space, into your space. And we're gonna come onto the mat. I'm gonna encourage you to have blocks. We're gonna use blocks quite a bit in the practice. And if you have issues with your shoulders where you can't clasp your hands behind your back, grab a strap and that'll help you in certain postures, getting in more deeply so you can activate up in the upper body and shoulders. So let us just start on our backs so that we can come into feeling the stable, solid ground underneath us. Have your feet into the mat, have your sits bones pressing down, feel your middle back, your upper back, maybe your shoulders. Notice how your neck lifts off and your head drops down. And just feel the parts of your body that are pressing into the mat, grounding. And just check in. Are you stable here? Do you feel solid and safe? You're not going to fall over or roll away. Feel your feet are supporting you just as much as your head pressing into the mat, as much as maybe the back of both of your hands. So just more observing and awareness, what is actually pressing here and allowing you to stay safe and grounded. Good. Bring both knees into your chest, and we'll just start by making some circles. Nice round massages into the middle back, the lower back, maybe down into your sacrum, whatever presses in. And be in this moment. Does it feel good? Where do you need more pressure? And then just roll into that place and maybe stay on one side. Make it very intuitive to what you need. Beautiful. Maybe do it in both directions. See if that changes anything. And then grab it behind your knees and let's just make some nice movements with the ankles. So big circles, both directions. And as you do this with your feet, see that you flex your foot, see that you point your toe. Can you spread your toes really wide and feel the air between your toes? And while your feet are making these nice circular motions, can you stretch your jaw, open your mouth, jostle your jaw from left to right? And do you have the brain ability to do these two things at the same time? A little brain gym. So stretch your face, stick your tongue out, maybe even make some sounds. And who cares if we are silly or seem strange, that's okay. And then bend your knees a little bit more, grab the outer edges of your feet and let your knees drop towards the floor. See if you can straighten your spine a little bit more. Rock from left to right now. And here, as you rock from left to right, notice that stability is sort of lost. I mean, we are rolling from both sides. Maybe you can find center real easy and just play around with that. Can you stop in the middle with no problem by activating your core and pressing your knees to the floor? So just play around with movement and with being able to be in control of this wobbly sort of sensation. Beautiful. Beautiful. And then bring your legs straight. Grab behind your thighs. Give yourself a nice little massage in the back of your legs, maybe by your knees, maybe the front of your legs, how they feel. Flex those feet. Bring the toes towards your torso. Imagine you're pressing your heels into the ceiling. And it might be too tight for the back of your legs and you need to bend your legs. Know that everything is allowed. So listen to your body, first and foremost. What does your body need? And then modify it and find what works. Beautiful. And then point your toes. Really point them like you want to touch your toes to the ceiling. So you're going to reach through the thighs to get your legs even closer to the ceiling or your big toes. Beautiful. And then from here, just bend, not bend, let your left leg drop down. Your right leg stays up. And then we're going to lift the chest off of the mat. And now we're going to just start to wake up the core. So stability has everything to do with the foundation, with rooting into the earth, with organizing your feet down and activating. But stability also comes from the core. So as we're holding here, can you feel the fire? Can you feel the stability that extends from the feet to the core and eventually from the hand to the core in the next poses? Good. And then just exhale, let's switch the legs. And activate the legs. Imagine that both your feet want to touch the wall on one side of the room, the ceiling on the other, and you're reaching them. So you've got muscles in your thighs turning on, you're lifting your chest. If it feels like too much, you can take your hands behind your head to support your head. So find modifications that work for you, but see that you're not passive, you're active, you're feeling. It's a lot about feeling in our practice today. And then switch the legs again. And you've been contracting the thighs and activating the legs the whole time, as well as the core. And like I said, use your hands if that feels better. See that your breath is easy and slow, even though we're being challenged here. Take one more breath, and then switch it one last time. Opposite legs, flexing the feet. The toes want to reach to the sky and the wall in front of you. So really reach them in opposite directions. Let them draw out of the sockets, and then ever so gently let the head drop down, bend the knees, and then just rock from side to side. I want to shake out the feet. And again, intuitively, just ask, what does my body want right now? What will feel really good for what I'm doing? Perfect. And then just cross your feet at the ankles. Let's start to rock all the way down the spine, to the back of the neck, to the tailbone. Just be really gentle with the neck as you do this. And we're going to do a big roll over the feet. So keep the feet crossed so that we come onto our hands, send the legs back, beautiful, and come into table. So just let's do a few cow cats. And as we press the hands into the mat, I'm going to go into this more, pressing the hands into the mat, dialing the hands away from one another. So we're really activating, organizing the hands down onto the mat, and then turning them externally. So the elbows come in, the hands aren't moving, but they want to dial out. Inhaling, lift the heart. And then we're going to exhale around the spine. Pull the navel in, look to your belly button. As you inhale, continue to push the hands into the mat. And as you exhale, continue to push the hands into the mat. So there's no bend in the elbows. Inhaling and exhaling around the spine. Do two more like this, inhaling and exhaling. And be in your spine. Feel how the vertebrae change shape. Lift the heart, dial the hands out. Exhale, push the earth away and really pull your navel in towards your spine. Come back through center and then sink the hips all the way back to the heels. You can take your knees as wide as you'd like, or you can have them close together and just lie over the thighs. I'm taking mine wider and letting my chest fall through. Again, there's no right or wrong. And then just take your arms overhead, feel child's pose here, and make child's pose comfortable. Generally, it can be comfortable depending on people's hips and knees. Find modifications by putting a blanket between the thighs or a block under the chest if that needs to be there for support, or under the head, okay? And then we're reaching the arms overhead, and just let your heart soften. Let your hips sink back over to the heels if that works, and take another full breath, inhaling, and feel this 360-degree circumference of your rib cage and even into your belly, and exhaling. Take one more here. And we're going to just make this active. So pull your hands towards your knees and feel your core turn on. Take two more breaths here. Inhaling, feel your shoulders pull away from your ears. Be really active, pressing those hands into the mat. And one more breath, inhaling and fully exhaling. And then slowly, slowly lift yourself up. Have the head come up last. Let your shoulders do some nice big rolls all the way down the back. Big circles all the way up to the ears, down the back. Press the shoulders away. And then take that rotation in the opposite direction. And then slowly start to tuck the toes under and come to sit on your heels. So we're coming back to waking up the soles of the feet, the toes, the ankles. Okay, continue making some nice movements in your shoulders. How are the shoulders feeling? And then just rotate the wrists and decide however you want to rotate the wrists. You can do them individually like this. You can clasp the hand and make nice big circles, and try both and see what feels more aligned for what your body, your wrists need. And then from here, inhale. Let's take the arms all the way up to the sky. And then from here, we're gonna take them to cactus. So keep staying on your toes. Anytime it feels too much, just come up like this. And we're gonna take the elbows close together behind the back, squeezing the shoulder blades and all the muscles. And imagine your hands are pushing away honey or molasses, and you're working really hard to get them together. Clasp the hands, punch the fists away, long in the arms and the shoulders, and then inhale, lift the arms, take the heart to the sky, even the gaze. And then exhale, slow motion, bring the arms into cactus arms, squeezing the shoulder blades together at the back. Exhale, bring the hands together, slow motion, like you're pushing through thick goo. Clasp the hands, press the palms away. Use the inhale breath, lift the heart, gaze to the thumbs or the sky. Exhale, slow motion, really squeeze the shoulder blades together. Feel the muscles all turn on behind you. And then exhale, squeeze like you're pushing something really thick away. Clasp the hands, push the fingers, the palms, and then inhale, lift to the sky. And then exhale, just release. Exhale the arms all the way down to the sides. Slow motion, feel maybe fatigue in those muscles. Shake them out, come off of your toes, and then tapping your toes. Rock the heels. See how that feels? A little bit tired. Oh, my toes are not loving it today. And then coming into downward dog. So let's just get some length to the spine. The hands are rooting into the mat, and I'm dialing the hands away. See what happens to my shoulders. My elbows internally rotate, my shoulders pull away from the ears, and then I continue to push the earth away with my arms. Straight arms, and then start to pedal out the legs as you come into downward dog. Feel the back of the legs, start to wake up. Might even want to rock the hips a little bit. Give the head a shake or make some big circles in the neck as it freely dangles. Smile, frown, stick your tongue out again. See that all the muscles, tissue in the face are softening up. At the same time, you're really pressing into the mat. Okay, downward dog, let's come onto our tippy toes here. See that the spine is long, bend the knees if you need to, but never round the back. See that you're strong in the arms and the spine. And then slowly exhale, let the heels get heavy as they melt down towards the mat, whether they touch or not, doesn't matter. Inhale, come back onto your tippy toes. And you pull the kneecaps up and feel the legs activate as much as the hands are pushing into the mat. And then exhale, slowly let your heels get heavy as they melt down towards the mat. Beautiful. And then slowly walking your heel toe, your feet to the top of the mat. Really intentionally feel the soles of your feet press deeply into the mat. Cross your arms so that you're grabbing your opposite elbows, and then bend your knees as much as you need to. As you dangle here, let your spine feel the traction, this free dangling as gravity draws it down. And then transfer the weight in the front of your feet a little bit more, so you have to catch yourself so you don't fall on your nose. And you're going to feel how your legs really activate, really lengthen. Feel that deep stretch. And see that you're not too far away from your thighs. Rest on your thighs. Bend your knees so much that you're able to just rest your torso on your thighs. Let's take the hands behind the legs now and give yourself a little hug here. Grab onto your elbows behind the legs and take your feet a little bit, just so that there's maybe a thumb width between the feet so that they're not quite touching. And let the head dangle again, and then gently press your legs into your upper arms as you hug yourself here. And feel the muscles in your legs turn out. But first and foremost, we want to press the feet into the mat. And imagine you're dialing the feet out and then pressing the arms, pressing the legs into the arms. So start to notice the activity. Turn on, up the legs, up the back of the legs. Keep breathing, and then slowly release. And come into sukha, come into ease. Release the fire. Let the arms dangle down. Push the earth away. Imagine the more you push into the earth, the deeper the print that is left from your feet. And then lift up slowly, one vertebra at a time, so you're really in awareness with your body. Let the head come up last. Oh, let's extend the arms up and over as well. So we're getting into length from the earth, the tips of your fingers, and then exhale, hands in front of your heart. And just pause for a moment. The little bit that we've done already, just notice the energy that's starting to vibrate in the body. So we're going to talk about the order of progression in our practice. So this is a movement methodology, and the order of progression is part of how it works. So when we are in mountain pose, top of our mat or wherever we are on our mat, we are grounding our feet. We don't want to just be passive. We want to be active. We want to be really present and really solid and really stable. Okay, so that is the stira part of sukha. Stira and sukha, effort and ease. We want to turn on the fire, turn on the muscles. Feet are pressing into the mat and then dialing the feet away from one another without moving them. So if you can just see the action of my feet, I'm turning the dial on and then I'm releasing. I'm turning the dial on and then I'm releasing. So just start to feel it's, when we do this, we are working the sole of the foot. We're creating that arch in the sole of the foot, and we're creating sensitivity. So that foot is now starting to wake up. The nervous system is now starting to be part of this muscular activation. It's the neuromuscular system that we want to turn on here. So when we do this, notice in your legs, the heels want to touch, but they won't touch. This spiral up the legs, around the knees, and the inner thighs, into the glutes, into the core, and into your pelvic floor, okay? This is called foot to core, and this is a foot to core stabilization. And anytime we activate the feet, it automatically works the pelvic floor, okay? This is the connection. And when we are here, it gives us this sense of stability. So just ask yourself, do you feel stable? And then turn off that dialing out and just stand normal. And just notice when you stand normal, there's no grounding. And this is exactly what I want to train and help train your body to become your default standing. So when you're standing anywhere, you're automatically going to gently turn on the muscles. It doesn't have to be heavy duty, but at the beginning, maybe it does, because our bodies aren't familiar with this yet. So we're still feeling into what this is. But after a while, it could just be very subtle, and all of a sudden you're stable. All of a sudden you're here. You're feeling your pelvic floor. You're feeling energy up your legs. Okay, so I'm going to inhale. I'm going to ask you to inhale. Let's take the arms up and over. And then clasp the hands together. Okay, so like they're little steeples here. And then dial the feet away from one another. And from the earth up, I want you to roll on your feet. Forward, roll to the one side, roll back, and roll to the other side. And I don't want you to move your upper body, but I want you to keep your whole body, your body as one piece. And imagine your fingers are making a little tiny circle. And the more you get into feeling, maybe your fingers can make a little bit bigger circle. And notice how your body is really turned on, activated. The muscles are engaged, and it's creating this sense of stability. Let's take that in the opposite direction and make that big circle back to a little circle, back to a dot, just where your fingers started. And just feel into body, all the activation, and then exhale, release the arms. So another thing that's really important when we dial the feet out, the thighs, it's like an external rotation of the hips. And what happens is the hips will find this nice posterior tilt, and your hip will draw in, and your tailbone will gently soften, okay? That is a nice stable posture. Often people stand like this in banana back, and they're sinking, and this is where injuries occur because there's no activity. It's just a passive hold with a lot of weight putting pressure on the spine. So we're activating now, building muscles, developing strength to support all of those things so that there's going to be no more injuries. Trust me, if you do this, you're going to feel really strong in your body. Okay, the other thing before we begin, I want you to feel into the superficial front line and the back line of the body and the side line. So we're going to just take the hands, and if that doesn't make any sense to you, it doesn't matter. We're going to take I'm going to show you. Hands are behind the head, and press the head into the hands and the hands back into the head. And then bring your awareness back to your feet. You might even feel like little cramps in your feet because your feet are so new to this. Dial the feet away from one another. Feel this spiral action up the legs, around your knees and your inner thigh. Feel your glutes slightly turn on, right? And your pelvic floor, your core, and then draw that spine all the way to the sky, and then press the head into the hands into the head. And the more you press the head in the hands, you're turning on your back superficial line. You're turning on and making the fascial lines a little bit more sensitive. Those muscles are turning on, and we're giving our nervous system some information, okay? And then gently, let's take the back bend a little bit more, and just only take it to the point where it feels like enough for you, where you still feel safe. And again, this is a good example of, whether you can go back a lot or a little bit. Maybe it has to do with safety, that you're going to fall, or worried about injury. So just take it as far as it feels right for you, then come back and notice how much work this is. You might want to take a little pause in the legs, shake out the feet, and then come right back down to the mat, pressing the earth away, dialing the feet away. And notice when you dial the feet, the arches of the foot are going to come off the mat a little bit. We want that. We want to stimulate the sole of the foot and wake up that arch. Now we're going to press that right elbow to the right. And as you come into this lateral bend, see that you're not leaning forward. We're not going forward, but you're pressing your head into your hands and your hand into your head. So you stay in this straight line. And my right elbow is going to drop to the right. And then press a little bit more weight into your left foot, so that you're still staying balanced on both of your feet. And then inhale, come back up to center. Ooh, and then gently we're going to take that bend to the left. So pressing the feet into the mat, dial them away from one another. See that you're not going into banana back. You're tilting your pelvis, and then you're going to lean to the left. Lean to the left again. Find that depth that feels safe or enough for you. And then put a little bit more weight into your right foot. And again, what does that feel like? Can you transfer the weight to the right a little bit more? See that the head still presses into the hands press into the head. And then inhale, come all the way back up to center. Oh, and then exhale, release. It's a lot of work. But over time, it's going to get easier, and you're going to start to become more aware in your body and feel so much more. So we're at the top of the mat. Shake out what you need to shake out, and we'll start our nice little sun salutation. Inhaling the arms up and over, gaze to the thumbs. And exhale with a flat back, strong spine, forward fold. Bend into your knees to whatever degree you need to. Shake it out and release. Inhale, lift up halfway. Come into flat back. So see that you are dialing your feet away from one another. Once again, the elbows are coming together, and even the hands are dialing out externally so that the elbows come in and the shoulders come back. Take another breath here. See that the spine stays nice and long. Feel a gentle back bend here. And then exhale, let's release the hands to the feet, taking 2 big steps back, coming into plank. And then in plank, let's just stay here for a moment. And if this is honestly too much for anyone, no worries. Take the knees to the floor. Otherwise, we're going to come into hollow back. Really draw your navel in. Beautiful. And set your knees to the floor. And we're going to dial the hands up, bring the elbows in, and slowly lower our body back down to the mat. Come into baby cobra. So lift the heart, dial the hands away, push the tops of the feet in the mat. Exhale, put your forehead to the floor, tuck the toes under, squeeze that block again, reverse, come through plank with the knees to the floor, and then come into downward dog. Exhale, let's do that again. Set your knees to the floor, lower push up with the knees to the floor. Inhale, lift up, baby cobra. Squeeze the shoulder blades, elbows to center. Exhale, lower down. Squeeze the block with your thighs. Lift up through plank with the knees to the floor, and then come into downward dog. And just start to feel how your body becomes one strong piece. The hands are activated and you feel your core, and the feet are turned on and you feel your core. Set your knees back down. Let's remove the block for a moment. And then come back into downward dog. Pedal out the legs. Inhale, let's take that right leg, 3-legged dog. And when you lift that right leg, 3-legged dog, imagine your left foot is turning in. Not going to really move much because you've got nothing else to leverage it against, but feel the muscles turn on. And then with your right leg, can you dial it in so it becomes an internal rotation? We're letting the hip and the foot fall down so that the hips are squared here. Arms are straight. Bend that right leg. Pull the nose to the knee. Round the spine. And then send the leg behind you one more time. Okay, we're going to set the foot to the inside of the left hand, the right hand this time. Round the back, nose to knee, and then set the foot to the mat and the left knee to the floor. Dial your right foot externally as you come up. And here what we want to do is we want to pull that right leg to center, that left leg to center. So we're coming to activate the pelvic floor and the pelvis is squaring. Take both arms up to the sky. And then exhale, sinking a little bit deeper. Set the hands behind the head once again. And when you press the hands into the head back into the hands, you're going to feel the front line turn on, all the muscles in front of the body. And you're going to feel the length. And when those muscles are turned on, it creates stability. Do you feel that right foot dialing out? So stability is always the first of the activations, dialing and activating that foot. And then we feel strength. We feel how the muscles, the tissues are all turned on. And when we have positions like this, it will allow mobility to take us to our end range in control. Let's release the arms up to the sky, windmill the hands back down to the mat. Let's just lift the back knee off the floor. We're going to come into a twist. Left hand roots to the floor, right arm opens to the sky. And once again, your left hand and your right foot, both are dialing away from one another. Feel the activity and the stability that has just been acquired in that front body. And imagine your right arm to the sky is pressing into a wall or really thick, rock hard honey. Okay? And then gently release the hand back down. Let's take that right leg behind us, again, three-legged dog, and exhale, lower the foot to the floor. Paddle out the legs, leave the head shake, rock the hips, see what you need to kind of do release, to come back into Sukha, this ease and this lightness. And then let's take that left leg, three-legged dog, behind us. Right leg wants to dial away, so feel the activity up the thigh. That left leg is dialing in and under, internal rotation of that left leg, so that we square the hips. Again, see that the neck and the jaw is soft. Pull the left knee to the nose, round the back, the shoulders come over the wrists. Exhale, send the leg behind you. And then slowly pull the knee to center again, shoulders over the wrists. If this feels like too much, drop both knees and just set your left leg forward. It's a great way to get forward if you're feeling tight in the hips. Inhale, both arms up. And then exhale, find your depth. Bend into your left knee. But see that you don't go into banana back. Find that pelvic tilt. Your core turns on. My left hip comes back. My right hip comes forward. All of a sudden, everything in the center gets activated. And you feel stable once again. The arms are externally rotating to open the chest. And then just find the depth of this pose, whatever that might be for you. Can you bend into your front knee a little bit more? Take the hands behind the head again. Inhale, lift the heart, press the head into the hands, and press the hands back into the head. And feel all the muscles in the front of the body turning on and creating that stability. And over time, that stability is going to create safety for you. It's going to create confidence. And you're going to be able to move into progression because you are understanding how your body works and it's working for you. So inhaling, find another little breath just to open the heart a little more. Exhaling, release the arms to the sky, windmill the hands back down to the floor. Take your back knee off the floor, root your right hand into the floor, your left foot too. And both that hand and the foot are dialing in opposite directions away from one another. And we're taking that left arm to the sky this time. You can drop your right knee to the floor at any time. So play around with that. But that right hand is dialing so far out that you're not slouching over that shoulder, but you're growing out of the shoulder. Take one more breath as you gaze to that left thumb. Exhale, take your left thumb to the floor. Take your left leg behind you and lower the foot to the floor. Shake up the head, pedal the head. And then just slowly come back into plank. And then slowly, either with your knees to the floor or reverse push-up, hands are dialing away from one another. Elbows draw in. Maybe they even brush the body as you lower down. And then rock the hips from side to side. Feel this sense of surrender or ease or sukha. Soften the jaw. And then from here, we're going to do a little opposite work, diagonal arm and leg. Press your right hand into the mat, your left leg deeply into the mat, and your left arm and your right leg are going to lift up. So that right hand and left leg are pushing deep into the mat, and your left hand and right leg are floating. Inhaling and exhaling. Let your breath be easy. So we've got a real perfect balance of Sthira Sukha, Sthira Sukha with effort and ease. Take one more breath here and exhale, lower the hand and the leg down. Pause just a moment, maybe rock the hips. And we're going to do the opposite side. This time my left hand and my right leg are pushing into the mat, but not my leg, the top of my foot, my kneecaps coming off the leg. And then inhale that right arm and that left leg, push deep, deep, deep into that left arm, that right leg, push into the mat, push it away. Feel your knee come off, maybe your thigh even comes off the mat. Get longer in the body, let your neck be long, breathe with ease, inhaling and exhaling. Full easy inhale and exhale. Take one more, inhaling. And then slowly melt down to the mat, rock your hips from side to side. Soften your jaw. And then feel your heartbeat, feel the heat. So the heat is from the sthira, that activation, that stability in our body. And then take your hands to your rib cage, slowly come back into child's pose and pause. Maybe rock from side to side, make a pillow if that feels right for you. And then take your arms over, head again, tuck your toes under once again, and we're just gonna roll back onto our feet. If your feet aren't able, or your heels aren't able to touch the mat, use a blanket or roll up your mat like this, so your heels have something to press into, so they're not just floating, okay? And if they can touch the mat, see that you are working your feet wider apart and parallel, rather than turning your toes out. That's our passive default mode, and we want to change that by slowly working the soles of our feet, creating an arch in that foot by dialing the foot away from one another and getting those feet parallel. When our feet are turned out, the foot doesn't have the ability to activate the same way. And we want to do that to develop that strength. Hands in front of the heart, maybe hands inside the knees, and then pull up on your pelvic floor. Soften the jaw, neck is long. We'll come into a little twist here. So here, how stable are you? You can, like I said, use that support under your feet. That's how it develops. And it progresses to getting the heels to the floor and feeling really stable. We're going to take the left hand outside of the left foot, but in front of the left leg. Okay, so it's like I'm reaching forward, setting it to the floor. And I'm going to take my right arm up to the sky. And that right arm is going to find an external rotation. So from my shoulder, I'm externally rotating my shoulder. And I'm leveraging my bottom arm onto my leg so that I can twist. And then I'm gazing to the sky. That arm can be anywhere. So think about what your shoulders are able to do and what your spine can do, and find the height, the depth, the direction that works. Then bring your hands back to center. And another modification is to sit on a block, use a block under your bottom. That's also okay. That's how we start. Right arm comes in front of the right leg, press the hand deeply into the mat, dial that hand away even so that you're feeling that shoulder open up. My left arm's going to open up. Find an external rotation. I'm rolling my shoulder back and open. Gaze to the thumb. Wherever the arm ends up being, doesn't matter. But I'm using my bottom arm as leverage. I'm pushing it into my leg in order for me to twist more deeply. And then bring both hands to center. And this is a nice workout for those hips. Hands back to the mat. Lift the hips nice and high. And we're at the back of the mat here. So give yourself a little shake. Rock out the legs. See what your body needs. Walk your hands back to the middle of the mat. And then gently, 2 big steps or jump, whatever feels right for your practice, to the top of the mat. Lift up halfway, flat back. Exhale, forward fold, transfer the weight in the front of your feet. And then reverse swan dive. Externally rotate the arms and the shoulders as you're flying back up to standing. Gaze to your thumbs. And exhale, hands in front of your heart. So pause for a moment here. Start to feel into your body. What are you noticing? The front side of the body, the back side of the body, the legs, the glutes, the ankles, and maybe everything. So let's turn on that activation in the legs. Again, that's the first part of stability, is finding that grounding in the earth, organizing the feet, and then activating the legs. So I'm turning my feet out. And then feel into the pelvis, feel into the hips. How stable are you here? Okay, we're gonna just come into a little twist again. So let's dial the arms away from one another. So it's an external rotation of the shoulders, and then the arms will just come back, almost like we're an angel, and these are wings, okay? So dial the feet away from one another and feel stability here, right? So no matter where you lean, you're really solid here. And we're gonna just take a twist. So keep your arms like angel arms, and I'm gonna just take my whole body and gaze over the right shoulder. And I'm not gonna let this left hip twist with me. My hips are gonna stay stable and squared to the front, and it's just my upper chest leaning to the right. And this left hand, imagine both hands are pushing into really thick honey again, really hard, rock hard honey. So press them forward while they're externally rotating back, and look over that shoulder. Dial the feet out. Imagine your heels want to come together, but they won't. Feel your pelvic floor, feel your core, and stay activated. But come back into this energy of sukha, of ease. Come back to your breath. Inhale, length, nice, slow, full, nourishing breath. Exhale, root back down to the earth. And then inhale, take both arms back up. Woo. And exhale the hands to the sides. Okay, shake it up, see how your body feels. We're gonna do the same thing on the other side. Okay, so dial your feet away from one another, really feel solid and strong. Feel those quadriceps turn on. And then I'm gonna externally rotate my arms, wherever you wanna start. The shoulders drop back, the palms go back, and then open the arms like angel wings, okay? I'm not gonna fall into banana back because my legs are so activated that my tailbone is tucking under or settling down. It's posterior tilt is what it's called. And now I'm gonna turn my whole body to the left. So keep the hips squared forward and then lengthen through the spine. Inhale long, and as you exhale, twist over that left shoulder. And both hands are opening back like angel wings, but they're pressing into a wall or honey or molasses or something really thick and gooey, and they're not able to move. And then continue to find your breath, inhaling and exhaling nice and slow. And again, it's up to you how intense you activate, how deep you go, but find your limit so that you're feeling something and it's not just passive. On the next inhale, take both arms back, overhead, through center, and exhale, hands in front of your heart. And it will feel like you just had a resistance training workout, but you float through yoga on your mat. Okay, top of your mat. Inhale, take the arms up. Exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, lift up halfway. Flat back, feel a gentle back bend. Hands back by your feet. Take 2 big steps back. Come into plank. And imagine that block is between your legs again. So really drive your heels together, but don't let them touch. Pull your navel in. Feel a little bit of a hollow back. It doesn't have to be exaggerated, but feel your core turn on. Dial your hands away, hands to core, feel feet to core. And then exhale, slowly lower your whole body to the floor. Decide if you want to set your knees to the floor or not. Okay, we're gonna bend the legs at the knees. And really imagine you want to pull your heels to your glutes. Take your arms back behind you. We're not gonna touch the feet, but imagine like you want to grab your feet. Neck is long. With the next inhale, press your pubic bone into the mat. Lift your thighs off the mat. Imagine your hands coming to your feet, but they're not going to touch. And inhale, hold. Squeeze your shoulder blades together. Squeeze your arms to center. Exhale here. Full breath. Inhale. Keep squeezing. This is called airplane tail. Your feet is the tail of an airplane. You're flying with ease. Feel a sense of grace here. Exhaling, keep squeezing those glutes, keep squeezing those legs. Neck is long, jaw is soft. Jaw slip from side to side. Take one more breath here. And exhale, slowly lower down. Ooh, rock your hips from side to side. You might want to bend your legs and just let your whole hips fall from left to right. And then embrace the breath. See that you're not resisting, but you're slowly finding balance through this effort and ease, through this sthira and sukha, through this fire and water, and then gently come all the way back into child's pose and just pause. So here we come back and just surrender a little bit, and we feel the efforts of our practice. So it's all about finding the discomfort, finding comfort in the discomfort. So when we're in those challenging poses, what can we do to find that balance? Let's take the arms overhead again. And let's just come to the table for a moment, once again. Dial the hands away from one another. So this is going to just allow you to once again feel what we're doing. Hands are rooting. Hands are wanting to turn away, but they are stuck to the mat. So the energy is taking up the arms and up the shoulders. Okay, we're going to pull the knees off the floor. And we're going to feel that core turn on. Hands to core. Feel that. Feet to core. Actually, you can tuck the toes under here. Beautiful. And then from here, we're going to just take that right leg back and straighten it. Pull it to center, round the back. Inhale, take the leg behind you. And exhale, round the back. Nose to knee, maybe. Inhale one more time. And one last time to center. Set the foot down. Set the knees down. Take a moment just to rock the hips or sway it out. And just feel the strength in your legs and in your core. And how much stability was there as you had to send that leg back. Probably a lot. If you were activating, you probably felt a lot of stability. Again, dial the hands out. Push the earth away. Dial your feet. We're not really going to move them much, but you're going to just feel the activity up the legs. And then feel your core. Hands to core, engage. Feet to core, engage. Take your left leg. Send your left leg behind you. Pull your nose to knee, round the spine. Inhale, extend. Exhale, pull to center. One more time, extend. Use your breath. Push the earth away. Feel your strength. Send the leg back. One last time. Set the foot to the floor. Drop the knees to the floor. Woo! And come to an upright position. Pause on your heels. Let your breath flow. And feel stable. Feel stable over your shins. So there's not a lot of activation here, but you could easily fall from left to right if you got into swing. And just notice the difference. But you're not going to fall because you're grounded here over your feet, over your legs. Beautiful. And then just let's take the hands behind us. Just take a moment. When we bring our hands behind us, we also want to dial the hands away from one another. We want to get this action. Hands stay stuck, but the elbows go in, the shoulders draw back, creating that space in the chest. So set them behind you, root them, press down, and then push away. Already the hands are creating that foundation, that stability, and then dial them away, and then gently lift your hips off the floor and press your knees to the mat, your hips to the sky. Maybe your head wants to fall back. It doesn't have to. If that doesn't feel safe, you can let your chin to the chest. Dial those shoulders away from the ears and towards one another behind your back. Take one more breath. Put the knees, press them into the mat, and then ever so slowly set your glutes back down over your heels. And give your thighs a nice slow massage. This is a great way to work the psoas muscle that works, that comes and connects to the front of the hips, goes through the pelvis and into the back. Psoas muscle goes through there, but it also gets the quadriceps. So it's good for back bends, is what I wanted to say. Hands back to the mat. Tuck your toes under. You might want to shake those legs out a little bit, one leg at a time, see what it needs. And let's take 2 big steps or jump, come to the top of the mat again. Lift up halfway, Urdhva Uttanasana. Exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana. And then reverse swan dive all the way to standing. Hands in front of your heart. Pause. And just find a little bit of stillness for a moment. Feel your heartbeat. And feel a sense of connection to your body. Vibration, connection to the earth. And then let your hands drop down to the sides. So we're going to do a little step back so that you start to recognize whether you're always activating and rooting down, organizing, activating through the feet. So let's do that with the feet. I'm going to press my feet deeply into the mat, spread my toes nice and wide, press that great toe deeply into the mat, dial the feet away from one another. Feel the muscles around your knees activate. That's really great for developing strength around weak knees. And then notice that your pelvic floor, your pelvis tilts. So you're not going into banana back, but it gently tucks under. Beautiful. And just take your arms beside you. All we're going to do, we're going to keep both feet dialing out. We're going to take the left leg and we're going to just step the left leg back into a lunge by keeping that right leg dialing out. Step it back. Inhale, come into warrior one. And just feel, is that foot still turned on? And at the same time, can you pull that hip back and my left hip forward? Once again, kind of coming into high lunge here. Beautiful. And then from here, let's clasp the hands behind the back, lift the chest. That front foot is still dialing out. And then keeping the spine long, I'm going to hinge forward. So when I hinge forward, I'm not collapsing over my leg, but I am pushing into my right foot even more so that I can keep my spine long and lifted. Spine long and my chest lifted. Take your arms overhead. See how that feels. Keep your heart lifted. And if at any point you need blocks under your hands, you can do that. It's not cheating. It's called training your body what to do. You know, anytime you need to feel it's too much, use your hands, use the blocks. Let's just set the hands now to the floor. Beautiful. And now what we're going to do is we're going to transfer the weight into that right foot once again. So come onto the tippy toes of that back leg. So we transfer the weight, push into the earth. And now we're going to come into warrior three. So dial your arms away from one another, external rotation. Okay. And then we're going to find whatever height that back leg feels safe to do. And all we're doing is hinging at the hips. Can that leg stay in alignment with your hip? Can that spine stay long and see that you're not rounding your back? And then push into that right leg again. Come all the way to standing. Left leg comes into the chest. Soften the jaw. Ooh, we're going to come into a big hip opening step back. And it's going to be on a count of 6. So feel activated in the standing leg. Take the arms to the sky on a count of 6. Big hip opener. We're going to step it back. 5, slow motion. 4, 3, start to bend in your standing leg. 2, and then 1, step it back. Warrior 1. Inhaling and exhaling. Open up into warrior 2. Sink down into that front knee. And as you do that, I am externally rotating my right thigh, opening up. The same with my back leg. I am externally rotating this thigh. The upper thigh is getting slight rotation. And I'm feeling stable now. I'm not just hanging out here, but I'm stabilizing here. Hands over the legs. Gaze over the front fingers. And then inhale. Take both arms overhead, straighten front leg. And exhale, sink deep into warrior 2. Inhale, take arms over the leg. Exhale, sink deep into warrior 2. Take arms straight over. And exhale, sink deep. From now, I'm going to take you into warrior 3. How stable are you over the feet? Are you activating those legs and really grounding down? Stability first, then you're going to feel your muscles. And then we're going to come into whatever range of motion, end range we come to. Straighten that front leg. We're going to come into triangle pose. Reach, reach, reach. Get a block if you need one. See that you're not leaning forward and sticking your butt out. We are activating and squeezing those glutes very gently so that we keep the pelvis tilted. See where the hand lands. And take the left arm up and over. So we're stacking now. And your warrior 3 could look like anything. See that you're not pressing on your knee though. Okay, and then from here, we're gonna bend into that front leg. And then take that left arm up and over. So now we're just coming into a deeper hip opener and gazing to the thumb as it reaches over our head. So see that this arm overhead is straight, not a bend. Maybe it means then the arm needs to go here. So we're activating and lengthening. And then gently, we're going to twist to the floor. And we're going to just pull that left leg forward and come back to mountain pose. Hands in front of your heart. Same sequence on the other side. But now we're going to step the left leg back. Dial both feet away from one another. Feel the pelvis. Do a gentle activation. Tilt. Activating. Spine long. Really nice, solid, stable foundation here. And from here, I'm going to just step my right leg back this time. So see that the left leg stays just as activated as it is now. Bend into your knees a little bit. And then gently step the leg back. Big lunge. Inhale, warrior one. And exhale, sinking a little deeper. Soften the jaw here. We're externally rotating that left thigh. Really press it into the mat. Pulling my left hip back, my right hip forward. See how squared the hips are. That's going to use that pelvic muscle and create more stability. Arms up. Soften the jaw. Can you dial the hands out? And maybe feel your heart open a little bit more. Doesn't matter what it looks like. And it also doesn't matter how deep you are here, but play around with it if the ability is there. Clasp the hands behind the back. Inhale, lift the chest. Gently lean forward. And we're going to come into warrior three from here. So gently transfer the weight forward. And again, find what depth that hinge can be. Your extended right leg has an internal rotation. So see that is not opening at the hip. And then ever so gently press into that standing leg. Roll your right leg into your chest. And once again, find balance. So your left leg might feel fatigued. Okay, just pause here. Find ease, but still hold on to that stability. We're going to come into a nice big hip opener, taking our right hip from a count of 6 into a big step back. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Warrior 1. We're going to open right into warrior 2. So see if the arms are parallel over the legs. And even here, arms are light and soft. They're not stiff and rigid. Imagine both fingertips want to tickle the wall on both sides of the room. So we're just getting long here. External rotation. External rotation. Both legs are activating and creating a lot of stability here. Straighten the front leg, take the arms up. Gaze to the thumb. How stable can you be as you move? And get your eyes moving. Inhale, take the arms up. And exhale, sink deep. One more like this. Inhale, take the arms up. And exhale, sink deep. And pause. And soften the jaw. And smile. And then straighten your front leg. And as you straighten that front leg, can you externally rotate the thigh? Turn this thigh muscle on, turn the muscles on around the knee. You may not feel anything right now because it's not familiar with this. The nervous system needs to learn this. We're going to exhale, reach forward, get long through the spine. And see that this leg stays activated. You can have a bend in the knee, but over time, these muscles are going to work to keep that leg strong. Set the hand down wherever it lands, and then stack your right arm overhead. See that you're not leaning forward like this, but that you're pushing into the earth, activating the muscles, dialing the hips, and stacking so that your shoulders are stacked, your hips are stacked. And your gaze is to your thumb, soften the jaw. And then ever so gently bend into that front leg. And then taking that right arm up and over. Coming into an angle, side angle here, reaching the fingertips to the ceiling or the wall in front of you. And I'm also using my left arm to twist so that my torso opens up, my heart shines to the sky. Beautiful. And then inhale, come all the way back up. Square your hips to the front of the room. And then gently clasp the hands behind the back, Lean forward, dial your left foot away from itself so that you're feeling activation. Beautiful. And then can you reach your arms overhead? Can you feel that energy pushing into the mat, allowing you to lift your chest away from the. Beautiful. Let's transfer the weight. Let's come back into warrior one. Come back up. And now we're going to transfer the weight of the left foot to come to standing to the top of the mat. Inhale, take the arms up, and exhale, hands in front of your heart. And pause. Close your eyes for a moment. And just feel your heartbeat, feel the heat, feel your body speaking to you. There's lots of vibrations, lots of energy. So this is that whole order of progression where we start with stability, always first, then we feel the muscles, and then we can move to wherever we need to move, that end range of control, right? And we feel safe. We're not doing something without being prepared. So we're preparing the body. Come back to your intention. What was that again? Oh, where can I feel more stable? Where can I feel emotionally, physically, mentally, spiritually more stable, more confident? And then gently let your hands come back down. And at the top of the mat, once again, we're going to step it back. Actually, let's take the block for a moment once again. Put it between your thighs. It's always good to be reminded of a squeezing action, feeling those muscles turn on. So see that your feet are just a little closer together than your knees or your thighs, so that we're really squeezing the block. And we're just going to come into chair pose. Come into chair pose. And when you come down, sink the hips back, squeeze that block by bringing those heels together. So those heels want to touch, and the inner thighs are turned on, and you're lifting your chest. And notice if you feel from feet to core. Okay, do that a few times just to feel how you can do that with so much more ease, just because we are giving the body so much information. All these movements are priming and toning our fascia, and our fascia wants to be sensitized, wants to have this energy, this information, so that it can allow us to move. And remember, hands in front of the heart, left elbow outside the right knee, and a little twist here. And if this twist doesn't feel right, you can have your hand on your thigh. Again, find the depth that feels right for you. Press your top hand into your bottom hand back into your top hand. Your left leg is stretching back. Imagine your heel wants to touch the floor. And maybe your right knee wants to touch the floor. And then gently come back up, warrior one. Let's just step it forward. Give those legs a little break. Exhale, hands in front of the heart. Shake it out. And catch your breath. And we'll do the same thing on the other side. So inhale, take the arms all the way up. And then gently step it back. Come into chair pose first. And chair pose, we're a little bit more stable because we feel those muscles turn on. And then step it back with your right leg. I should know that. And then sink into that warrior one pose. And feel that left thigh totally activated, engaged, and creating a lot of stability. Hands in front of the heart. I'm going to twist now with my right elbow outside my left knee. My right leg is long and strong. It's like it wants to push to the floor. And then slowly pressing both hands into one another, giving the torso from the belly to the thigh to the arm a nice squeeze in the center. So you're feeling a lot of stability. Look over the shoulder. Soften the jaw. And can you stand up in one easy swoop, warrior one, and then step it forward to squat or chair pose, and then hands in front of the heart. And once again, just pause. Close your eyes. Catch your breath. My breath is going. Feel your heartbeat. And then just notice how your body is starting to speak to you. Lots of information being accumulated. Oh, okay, great. And then gently, let's come back into chair pose. Take the arms all the way up. Dial the feet away from one another. Feel how stable you are. Hands by your feet, 2 big steps back. Come into plank. Okay, from plank pose, I want you to feel once again, hands to core energy and foot to core energy. Do you feel how your core turns on? We're going to come into side angle. I'm going to show a modification. So it doesn't have to look like this. We're going to root into the right hand and roll. So the body is one piece. Feel that it all opens at the same time. So I'm pushing weight into my right hand. I'm starting to transfer the weight into the edges of my feet and letting my left arm come up. The feet can stay straight, stacked, or you can take this top leg in the middle, or you can take the bottom leg to the mat. Those are all modifications of side angle. So see what works for you and know that there's no right, wrong or right. And then if you can, take your gaze to the sky to challenge. Again, this is taking us into a more advanced pose when we take the gaze different. And then exhale, come back to plank. Bring your leg to the back if you had it pulled up. And we're going to do the same thing on this side. This time I'm rooting deeply into my left hand. Push the earth away, feel the activation, and all I'm doing is going to stack the hips. Feet can stack, will be one in front of the other. Find the modification by taking the top leg, and that top leg isn't lazy and it doesn't fall in. It is rooting down into the mat, pushing the earth away, letting these hips come up. Or you can take the right leg, the left leg to the floor, and the top leg extended. Again, find what feels most aligned, and then take both hands back down through plank. Dial the hands away from one another as you lower all the way down. Make a little pillow with your hands, rock your hips. And just pause. Allow your breath to catch up to you. And we're going to just take that the next pose, bow pose, because we already did the airplane tail. And now we're going to just take it a little deeper. If you don't want to take it deeper, do the airplane tail again. It's just bending your knees a lot, taking your hands, imagining you're grabbing your feet, and then lifting the legs, or grab both feet. And then as you pull those feet towards you, your feet are pushing into your hands. Lift the legs, lift the heart. See that the neck is long. We don't want to have tons of compression in the neck. Flex both feet, inhaling and exhaling. Inhale, let it flow with ease. Even when there's discomfort or challenge, how can you find the balance? Take one more breath. And then exhale, lower down. Set the knees, thighs, release the feet. Make a little pillow, rock the hips. And just take a moment to feel your heartbeat. Feel your aliveness. Feel a sense of gratitude. And then gently bring your hands to your rib cage. And you can either come up reverse push-up. If you do that, you're pushing the earth deeply away, dialing your hands away, and then lifting your body up as one piece. Or you can come through child's pose, sending your hips back to your heels, and then come and meet up in downward dog. And just pause here and take a breath or two. We're going to come to the top of the mat again, and we're going to start by we're going to jump through. We're going to jump through to a seated position. So bend your knees a lot. And just look to see what time it was. And then we're going to cross our feet or just set our feet to the mat. Come to sit down on the mat. And we're going to grab the block once again. And we're going to set the block between our thighs. And we're going to come into boat pose. Boat pose is a balancing pose. So how stable do we feel here? With the block between our thighs, we're going to imagine we're dialing our feet away from one another. You can have your feet just as far away as they would be up from the floor. And imagine you want to bring your heels together, but they're not going to come together. And feel that inseam of the legs. Take your hands by your side. If you need to hold on to your knees, that's perfectly fine too. But see that you're lifting your chest. You're not rounding and curling in, but you are squeezing the shoulders down and back, and feeling a little bit of those muscles in the back of the body. At the same time, you're activating your core. So it is a little bit of that pubic bone to sternum activation, but we're keeping the spine long. Let's come out of the pose, cross the feet at the ankles, remove the block, make a little pause here. Round the spine, rock your hips from side to side, let your head roll from side to side. And then come back. Let's put the block back into the thighs. And then gently come into reverse table. Okay, so we've done something like this before on our shins. We're dialing the hands away from one another. The feet are rooting deeply into the mat. And dial your feet away from one another. This is one of the most obvious ways to feel how your hips get really light. So I'm dialing my hands, the heart lifts, I'm dialing my feet, and all of a sudden the hips lift with a little bit more ease. Squeeze the block, squeeze the block. Actually, my thing's gonna fall out, so throw the block high enough in your thighs and squeeze the block. And notice when you squeeze the block, maybe your hips can lift higher, let your head fall back, dial your hands and feet are pushing deeply into the mat. Let the chin come in and drop the hips to the mat. And then right away, can you come into boat pose? Maybe you use your hands the whole time. Play around with it. Maybe the hands come out, maybe they touch. Maybe they come out, maybe they touch. And then lift the heart, soften the jaw. Inhaling. And exhaling. Take one more breath here if you can. Squeeze that block, dial your feet away from one another, and then slowly let the feet come down. Remove the block. Make a little ball here, round the spine, let your head drop. And take a few big breaths into the back of your body, the lungs in the back of your body, as you're in this nice little ball. Feels so good when you breathe deeply. And then nice and slowly, we're going to lower all the way back down to the mat. And see that as you lower back down, you're contracting your core and really in control. You're stabilizing here so you don't flop down. Stabilize, stabilize, stabilize until your body melts back down to the floor. So again, see that block is handy. And we're going to set the block between the thighs again. We're going to come into bridge pose. Same idea. We're going to be pressing the feet into the mat, dialing the feet away from one another so the heels feel like they're going to want to come together, the knees are going to want to come together, but the block is there too to prevent that from actually happening. So as we come up, press into the feet, lift the heels, lift the hips, and allow the shoulders and the arms to come together underneath the back and squeeze the glutes, dial the feet away from one another even more. I feel how my nervous system is really getting activated here and getting little shakes here, and then really drive your heels away from you. Press your feet to the wall in front of you and see if you can lift your hips even more. Take one more breath, and then from your spine, your neck, your middle back, your lower back round as you set your tailbone back down to the mat. Remove the block and just windshield wiper your legs. Windshield wiper, windshield wiper. Soften the jaw. And then from here, just pull the knees into the chest once again. And we're just going to rock on the spine. And just massage the spine. Make it nice and easy. And then come to an upright position. Upright position. And then we're going to take the block again. And we're going to set the block between the thigh. We're going to squeeze that block. We're going to flex the feet a little bit. We're going to pull the flesh out from underneath our sits bones so that we can really root down again and connect to the earth. Feel solid and stable and grounded. And then just activate your feet, spread your toes a little bit, feel strong in your legs. We're going to inhale, take the arms all the way up. This might be in the way. So set the block so that you can forward fold without it hitting you, if that would be the case. Inhale long through the spine, and we're just hinging at the hips. So exhale, squeeze the blocks, dial your feet away from one another, and notice how all of a sudden, I want to say it gets easier. I'm not saying it gets easier, but somehow the attention is in the strength in the legs, pulling the hips back, and just allowing this hinging to take place, I want to say with a little bit more ease. I'm not saying it's easy, but I feel that I don't have as many uncomfortable sensations. And then just feel your spine long. You can grab your feet too. Sorry, I don't have to have your hands over your feet. You can have them on the mat. You can pull on the mat. See what works for you. But it's not about getting our nose to our knees. Just feel this hinging at the hips. Can you shine your heart further forward rather than to the floor? Beautiful. And then come back up. Let's do that again. Remove the block. Again, see how it feels this time without the block. Can you still feel this activation and this sensation in the inner thighs? Inhale, lengthen your arms. Exhale, hinge forward. Maybe grab your feet. Maybe you want to get a block at the end of your feet. See what works for you. Maybe you just want your hands on the mat. And then inhaling, lengthen through the spine. So feel your heart lift. And each time you exhale, just let your body just deepen, soften, release, surrender. But it doesn't mean that you're not activating. I'm still being really strong in my legs. Inhaling and exhaling. And stay here for 2 more breaths. Inhaling and exhaling. One last breath. Inhale and exhale. And then slowly lift yourself back up. When we activate in these forward folds and activate our legs, all the muscles, there's 4 muscles in the back of the legs that make up the hamstring muscles. They're all working together. And generally when we do a passive forward fold, it's one muscle that's getting all the tension and all the stress. And now all the muscles are working together, so they're all strengthening and building that strength in the back of those legs. Okay, so let's bend the knees once again. Windshield wiper those legs. And we're just going to finish up in a nice twist. So extend your right leg forward, take your left leg across, pull the bent leg close to your chest. And we're going to twist to the left. I like to take my left arm nice and long so that it teaches my body to get upright. I windmill the arm back down to the floor, push into the floor, and I extend my right arm to the sky to get my spine long. And on this long axis, I twist and hook. And then I, inhaling again, find length in the spine. And with each exhale, I take that twist a little deeper. And then really using that right arm as leverage into the leg, that leg as leverage back into the right arm. Really activate, feel the core, feel the hip muscles turn on. Extended leg is activated. You can also go, this is a little bit deeper, I guess. You can bend your extended leg, only if you don't have too many hip knee issues, and then continue to look over your left shoulder. Let's take 2 more breaths here, get long through the spine. And exhaling, soften the jaw, release. 1 more breath. And exhale. And then gently unwind. Nice and slow, feel that spine. Take that twist in the opposite direction. Do a nice little forward fold here. Lift back up. And we're going to do a little brain gym. I love doing this. If your leg is extended, your right leg, pull it in. Where both feet are landed, we're going to lift up. Keep the feet where they are. Do a full turn to the right, a full turn 360 degrees all the way back. So you're facing the front of the room again, or wherever you were facing. And now my right leg is bent over top of my left leg. Again, if it's too sketchy for the knees, you can extend your left leg. Pull that right knee into your chest. Nice and close, little ball. Flex your extended leg if it's extended. And root your right foot deeply into the mat. Inhale, my right arm, get long through the body. Windmill behind me. Get long again, inhale with my left arm. And then find on this axis a nice rotation, hook the elbow. Inhale, get long. And with the next exhale, look over the shoulder. This hand can stay like this. You can hug the leg, you can hold it wherever it feels right. And then just continue to breathe deep, full, slow breaths as you look over that right shoulder. And with each breath, see that you're deepening. Maybe there's actually no physical change, but maybe the breath is deepening. Maybe you are internally working deeper into your tissues. Jaws relaxed, breath is flowing. Let's take 2 more breaths here, inhaling and exhaling. And 1 last breath, inhale. And exhale, nice and slow, unwind, come back through center. And don't do anything too erratic, too quick to shock the spine, to shock the body. And then twist to the opposite direction, to the left. Maybe you come into a little forward fold. And then come back up. And then unwind the legs. Perfect. Take the soles of the feet together now. And coming into Bakasana, feet, soles of the feet together. And let's just butterfly the legs, make it really passive and easy. Almost like you're just shaking out any last little bits of energies that aren't serving you. Just releasing last little bits of dust. And then from here, lengthen the spine again. And if you'd like, you can make this passive or active. Passive will just be letting your body fold forward and letting the weight of your torso and your head drop. If you'd like to make it active, you can take the soles of the feet and open them like a book. It's going to activate in the legs a little bit so you get the legs open more maybe. Inhale, lengthen the spine, and keeping the spine long, come into a forward fold. Each breath lengthens the spine. And each forward fold makes you just maybe deepen a little tiny bit. Maybe there's not even a physical movement, but just energetically. Inhaling. And exhaling. Let's stay here for 3 more breaths, regardless how you're finding yourself. Inhaling. And exhaling. Inhaling. And 1 last breath. Make it really intentional, really deep and full. And then slowly work your way back up, whether it was passive or active. And just pause for a moment, close your eyes. And just notice what's here. Notice what's taken over, where the attention is now in your body. Beautiful. So we're going to come into Shavasana now. And I'm going to encourage you to stay for at least 5 minutes. And I'm going to just send everyone off here. Slowly work your way down onto your mat. Take your feet nice and wide. Let the feet flop to the sides. Open your arms to the sides. Let your arms flop to the sides. Let your head be heavy. And can you let your body surrender? If you have any issues with your lower back, get a pillow, put 2 blocks under your knees. Bend your knees, put the soles of your feet into the mat. All kinds of modifications, and just find what feels best for you. It may be something completely different because there's no right or wrong. But this is corpse pose. So it is a pose of surrender and a pose of completely letting go. So see that you are, wherever you are, that you can be in this pose of sweet surrender. That there's no muscles working, that there's no kind of holding. We started in this position on our back, and just notice the difference between how you felt when you came to how you feel now. Feel the weight of your body drop deep. Feel your heart beating. Feel the vibrations rush through your body. And just finding that balance again, that perfect balance between sthira and sukha, between effort and ease, between stability and just the pause in between. And in these moments of stillness, this is where we have the opportunity to listen to our bodies, to listen to the messages they are giving us. So be present. Let each breath allow you to fall deeper into the earth, feel held and feel stable and feel strong and safe. And like I said, stay here for at least 5 minutes or longer. Drink lots of water yet today. May you feel loving kindness. May you be happy and well. May you be peaceful and at ease. And may you continue to be healthy and safe and happy. Namaste.